He that beats the drum for the madman to dance is no better than the madman himself. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. Where water is the boss, there the land must obey. A low-class man will just talk. Deeds are the hallmark of a gentleman. No matter how beautiful and well-crafted a coffin might look, it will not make anyone wish for death. There are no shortcuts to the top of the palm tree. When the shepherd comes home in peace, the milk is sweet. Do not look where you fell, but where you slipped. A spider's cobweb isn't only its sleeping spring but also its food trap. The water of the river flows on without waiting for the thirsty man. If you do not have patience, you cannot make beer. If there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. He who runs after good fortune runs away from peace. No matter how hot your anger is, it cannot cook yams. You have little power over what's not yours. Don't procrastinate, or you will be left in between doing something, having something, and being nothing. If you pick up one end of the stick, you also pick up the other. A chattering bird builds no nest. Better little than too little. Those who end up accomplishing great things pay attention to little ones. You must attend to your business with the vendor in the market, and not to the noise of the market. There is no elephant that complains about the weight of its trunk. No elephant is burdened by the weight of its tusks. When you befriend a chief, remember that he sits on a rope. By the time a fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed. The night has ears. One who has to yet learn to walk cannot climb a ladder. A doctor who invoked a storm on his people cannot prevent his house from destruction. When a needle falls into a well, many people will look into the well, but only a few will be ready to go down after it. An intelligent enemy is better than a stupid friend. It is better to be poor when one is young, rather than becoming poor at old age. The young bird does not crow until it hears the old ones. If you carry the egg basket, do not dance. Even the king of the forest, the lion, protects himself against flies. The food which is prepared has no master. No person is born great. Great people become great when others are sleeping. The words of the elders do not lock all the doors, they leave the right door open. A roaring lion kills no game. Even the best cooking pot will not produce food. The chicken that can dig for food will not sleep hungry. They are not dead who live in the hearts they leave behind. An ounce of practice is worth 1,000 words. Day and night cannot dwell together. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Before eating, always take time to thank the food. Yesterday is but a dream, tomorrow but a vision. Don't be afraid to cry. It will free your mind of sorrowful thoughts. We can't change the direction of the wind, but we can adjust the sails. When we show our respect for other living things, they respond with respect for us. Life is not a continuum of pleasant choices, but of inevitable problems that call for strength, determination, and hard work. If we wonder often, the gift of knowledge will come. I had no shoes and complained until I saw a man who had no feet. Most of us do not look as handsome to others as we do to ourselves. There is no hand to catch time. In age, talk; in childhood, tears. What is now in the past was once in the future. We always return to our first loves. There is nothing noble in being superior to some other man. The true nobility is in being superior to your previous self. When you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. Certain things capture the eye, but pursue only those that capture the heart. Those who have 1 foot in the canoe and 1 foot in the boat are going to fall into the river. To give jewels to a donkey is as stupid as giving a eunuch to a woman. The weakness of the enemy makes our strength. The eyes do not see what the mind does not want. A good soldier is a poor scout. Don't bargain for fish which are still in the water. Poverty is a noose that strangles humility and breeds disrespect for God and man. A book is like a garden carried in the pocket. We will be known forever by the tracks we leave. Don't delay today's work until tomorrow. Do not judge your neighbor until you walk 2 moons in his moccasins. The man who has mounted an elephant will not fear the bark of a dog. There is nothing as eloquent as a rattlesnake's tail. A thief thinks everybody steals. Force, no matter how concealed, begets resistance. When a camel is at the foot of a mountain, only then judge his height. Our first teacher is our own heart. Every dog is a tiger in his own street. Where you will sit when you are old shows where you stood in youth. Crawling on your hands and knees has never prevented any person from walking upright. He who is unable to dance says that the yard is stony. One who possesses much wisdom has it in the heart, not on the lips. Do a good deed and throw it into the sea. When the roots of a tree begin to decay, it spreads death to the branches. One may have 2 legs, but that does not mean one can climb 2 trees at the same time. Slander by the stream will be heard by the frogs. A bird does not change its feathers because the weather is bad. Birds sing not because they have answers but because they have songs. If your only tool is a hammer, you will see every problem is a nail. One who is willing to bathe with cold water doesn't feel the cold. When you show the moon to a child, it sees only your finger. It is the crooked wood that can show the best sculptor. Be a mountain or lean on one. A flea can trouble a lion more than a lion can trouble a flea. During times of peace in the country, the chief does not carry a shield. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. A man who pays respect to the great paves his own way for greatness. The death of an elderly man is like a burning library. A great leader is an ordinary person with extraordinary wisdom. Anger and madness are brothers. In the moment of crisis, the wise build bridges and foolish build dams. Do not follow a person who is running away. Do not marry a woman who has already had sex with someone from your tribe. Even as the archer loves the arrow that flies, so too he loves the bow that remains constant in his hands. Advice is like a stranger. If he's welcome, he stays for the night. If not, he leaves the same day. He who burns down his house knows why ashes cost a fortune. God has created lands with lakes and bountiful rivers for man to live, and the wide deserts so that he can find his soul. You cannot build a house for last year's summer. A hyena does not change its spots even if it moves to a different forest. We desire to bequeath 2 things to our children. The first one is roots, the other one is wings. Everyone who is successful must have dreamed of something. Pearls are of no value in a desert. All who have died are equal. Pull someone by the ears and his head will follow. Remember that your children are not your own, but are lent to you by the Creator. Use medicine as well as prayers. One rain does not make a crop. Among the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Man's law changes with his understanding of man. Only the laws of the Spirit remain always the same. Be careful for deep water and dogs that do not bark. You already possess everything necessary to become great. You should not call in a cat to settle the argument of two birds. There is no death, only a change of worlds. The way to overcome the angry man is with gentleness, the evil man with goodness, the miser with generosity, and the liar with truth. Life is not separate from death. It only looks that way. Life is a bridge, cross over it, but build no house on it. You can't wake a person who is pretending to be asleep. To control the mind is like trying to control a drunken monkey that has been bitten by a scorpion. It is less of a problem to be poor than to be dishonest. A guilty conscience is a hidden enemy. One finger cannot lift a pebble. When we take one step toward to God, He takes 7 steps toward us. Old age is not as honorable as death, but most people want it. You may look up for inspiration or look down in desperation, but do not look sideways for information. Even a small mouse has anger. Patience is the most beautiful prayer. Don't go to bed with a man until he marries you. If a man is as wise as a serpent, he can afford to be as harmless as a dove. What was hard to bear is sweet to remember. The rainbow is a sign from Him who is in all things. They who give have all things. They who withhold have nothing. Don't eat your bread on someone else's table. When a man moves away from nature, his heart becomes hard.